In Quarks on Deep Space Nine, Rom and Lita are studying a pad with images of various wedding dresses from Tellarite Modern to Rizian Traditional, but dislike all of them. "Ooh, I like this one." Rom pointed out to a revealing wedding dress, or lack thereof, on the pad.
That's a loincloth.
"So you get to keep the loincloth?" Rom says he rubs his shoulder. Lita barely punched the sensitive Ferengi hard as she looks at him for a second and rolls her eyes. "Ouch!"
Ugh! I will not be naked for the wedding.
Lita stated to her fiancé, who wants a traditional Ferengi wedding. Rom and Lita begins to argue what wedding tradition they are going for when Ziyal interrupts the couple.
Why don't you guys let Garrick design one for you? It won't hurt.
That's flattering and disturbing, my dear.
Garrick said sarcastically. He could design Lita's wedding gown to her specifications, but the Ferengi stubbornness is making the task burdensome. He would rather be in an interrogation room questioning Romulan spies at a Cardassian embassy in Romulus than watching his clients bickering and losing latinum in the process. Ziyal heard her lover's statement, and she doesn't like it at all. She bit her lip and opens her mouth.
What's that supposed to mean?
No offense, dear.
Garrick began as he places his pad on the table. In the meanwhile, Rom and Lita let the two Cardassian argue. Both of them see Captain Benjamin Sisko and Chief O'Brien walking along the promenade and approach them quietly.
Keiko and the kids left for Earth this morning.
I wish Jake does the same.
Sisko said as he peered out of the window. Before Miles O'Brien could say something encouraging to his commanding officer, Rom and Lita interrupted them. "Captain!"
Yes?
"I was wondering if you would marry me."
What? Marry you? You're not my type, let alone species.
What he means is that it would be an honor for the emissary of the prophets to officiate our wedding.
Lita explained to the captain.
When is the wedding?
Benjamin asked as both and Chief O'Brien smiles at the future, Rom and Lita, whatever they call themselves. Bajorian woman with a Ferengi?
2 weeks. Thank you, Captain.
Both of them said as they left with a smile. Sisko and O'Brien moved to one of the promenade viewports on the upper catwalk where a large crowd has gathered.
Maybe they're not coming. It's been weeks since they did not use the wormhole to reinforce their numbers on Cardassia.
That would be a nice surprise.
Sisko replies. Outside of the station, they expected the wormhole to burst to life. Instead, a small single ship with a greenish hull appeared. To the Bajoran and Starfleet personnel, it looks like a shuttle, but to the Tauri, it's a human-engineered tactical shuttle-modified puddle jumper.
That was unexpected,
she says as she taps a few commands on the console, and it beeps the readout and puts the visual on the view screen.
Captain, we have visual of the vessel.
It's 2 engines that are attached to a pylon protruding out of the ship, retracted into its compartment. The ship itself is damaged, its broadside hull is literally on fire, and its circuitry exposed to the vacuum of space. Sparks fly out of the exposed circuitry in intermittent intervals.
That doesn't look Dominion.
Were you able to scan the ship?
Sisko asked one of the officers working on the sensor console as he stood.
Captain, sensors unable to penetrate the hull of the ship and alloy composition, sir.
I was able to make the name from the visual feed.
The view screen shows the ship is rotating slowly as it sets adrift away from the station. Electrical sparks from the exposed hull could be seen from the engine pod.
The computer does not register in the Federation, Klingon, or Romulan database,
Kira said. Jadzia looks at her console and taps a few buttons and reports.
Like Worf said, sensors can't penetrate the hull of the ship.
Then tractor the ship.
Yes, sir, Worf said stoically and presses a few buttons, but the computer couldn't accept his commands. Captain, tractor beam is unable to lock onto the ship.
Manually target the ship and reel it in, Commander.
Captain Sisko orders the Klingon as he references fishing idioms. Yes, sir, manually. Worf tried to target the ship with a tractor beam, but to no avail. The station tractor beam array shot out a bluish beam at the small ship, but the puddle jumper hull deflects the energy beam.
Tractor beam will not lock, sir.
As they are watching every moment until the computer alerts them that the derelict ship has breached the firewall of the most secure network in the Federation. Lights came on, and the puddle jumper engine pod began to stabilize the ship from drifting further away. Sir, the ship has scanned us. All of a sudden, in the middle of ops, a holographic image shimmers to life. It's not human, and it seems to be naked but without any reproductive organs. It have an oval shape head with 2 large black eyes and a mouth, 2 slim arms and legs.
I assure you, Captain Sisko, I mean you no harm to your crew and the habitants of this station.
Hello.
O'Brien's jaw drops as he questions the alien. Sif's big oval eyes locks on O'Brien and Benjamin Sisko as she tilted her head.
I'm Sif. I'm an artificial intelligence construct for the Tauri Federation.
What's a Tauri?
In time, I will explain everything. I will land the ship in one of your landing bays with your permission, of course.
Shuttle Bay 2 should be precise.
About to ask a question when the surroundings change. He knew that he was with the Prophets when one of the Prophets emanating the Colonel appeared.
The game has changed.
The game has changed.
The game has changed.
The game has changed.
What game?
The game have new player.
The game has new players.
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 Worf walks in the office and says,
The Dominion are corporeal matters.
Benjamin, forgive them for they speak in riddles.
A woman with red hair and wearing a Starfleet uniform appears before him. He did not recognize the woman since the Prophets emanates the people he knows and spoke in riddles.
Who the hell are you?
I am not your concern. A threat that you can't imagine came through.
I don't understand. Benjamin Sisko tries to get head around this new information.
Olma is wise.
Olma is wise.
Olma is wise.
The Prophet said as they walks around her.
Non-corporeal is our concern. New player in the game.
Non-corporeal is our concern. New player in the game.
Non-corporeal is our concern. New player in the game.
Olma has an annoyed look on her face after the wormhole aliens gather around her and repeats.
His name is Baal. He is a great evil that took the leadership role of the enemy you are currently not fighting yet.
If I am not currently fighting yet, then it's not my problem to begin with, Benjamin said. Why can't you handle it?
I am unable to interfere in this universe. It might raise suspicion from the Q continuum.
Olma walks closer to the captain and hands him a blue cylindrical object. How are you able to appear in the Celestial Temple?
They're just wormhole aliens.
What's this? Sisko looks at the cylindrical object and examines it. It's a data rod that's compatible with the DS9 computer system. But you are interfering now.
That data rod has all the information to anchor your universe to our waiting fleet. Once they arrive, they will assist the Federation to rid this universe of great evil.
Who are they? Why are you phasing in and out? Sisko asks Olma as she shimmers back and forth.
I am in a different universe that's not tuned to yours. You see, I am called an ascendant being. 10,000 of your years ago, I was human. I shed my corporeal body and ascended to a higher plane of existence. And it's taking the Ascendancy's powers to find where Baal disappeared to, without interrupting the ascended being in other universe.
Why here? Why now? Why bring me to the wormhole, which clearly you are interfering?
These prophets the Bajorans praise to. They exist in a dimension that inhibits the playful nature of the Q continuum. I can exist in your mind like I have existed in other minds to assist with their ascension.
Benjamin Sisko flashes back to his reality, sitting next to Colonel Kira Nerys with a data crystal in his hand. Kira knew he spoke to the prophets or an ascended being when he had a stoic look on his face.
You spoke to the prophets?
Kira asked the captain. Not exactly, Benjamin replied as he opened his palm to find that he is holding a data rod. He looks at the rod and wonders how the data rod be in his possession.
What's that you are holding, Captain?
Kira glances at what Captain Sisko is holding. Not exactly sure. Benjamin replied with bewildered look on his face. He was about to explain to Kira when sensors picked up several hundred gravimetric fluctuations. Outside of Deep Space Nine, Klingon warships started decloaking. There was battle damages to the Klingon ship as more of them arrived.
We're being hailed.
It's Chancellor Gowron.
One of the Klingon
He's requesting permission to dock. They've got wounded.
Wants permission to be beamed.
Permission granted.
Tell the Klingons to leave that little ship alone. Say it is our experimental vessel.
Captain, the Tari ship is on landing pad 2.
Commander Worf, take a security detail to the landing pad 2.
Yes, sir.
Old man, I will be in sickbay, welcoming our new guest.
I have the feeling the Klingons' war against the Cardassians has taken a turn for the worse.
In sickbay, Dr. Bashir hovers a dermal regenerator over
Blood for
Chancellor's
blood.
burned hand.
Batleth strike's supposed to decapitate them. But the Jem'Hadar soldiers are different from the ones we fought before.
This is a dark day, not only for the Klingon Empire, but for the Alpha Quadrant itself.
I have a better idea.
Sorry, Captain. The Cardassian holographic emitters are primitive. I had to bypass several secondary systems. But you should have a one-on-one talk to your son activities in Quark's secret ledger. Haha, but that's me.
What is this abomination?
Chancellor, I'd like to introduce you
An
to Sif.
abomination? Look who's talking. I'm more than a hologram. But I digress. Captain, do you have the data rod in your person?
Yes, how do you know?
I have told you. I am more than the ship's AI. I have a team in the ship's memory buffer. But I need to debrief your people and the Klingons who you are dealing
Where's that damn music coming from?
Oh, sorry, I thought I might lighten the mood. You're so serious.
In orbit of the Founder's homeworld, 10 battleships are in geosynchronous orbit guarding a single Hatak pyramid ship. Ball watches from his throne room as thousands of Jem'Hadar ships came out of the assembly line. 25 dry dock with a construction arm replicated the ship parts needed. For the new vessels, and over 100 automated factories kept churning out ships, fighters, and battleships. A Vorta named Weyoun, along with his Jem'Hadar soldiers in their new armor, enter the throne room. Since his new role in the new universe, it's an upgraded Cull Warrior armor.
Speak.
Master, the Dockmaster is marveling at the rate of speed your new shipbuilding system.
It's not mine. It's the technology I acquired from my universe. I'm merely utilizing it. Of course, Master. Also, there's bad news. Well, don't just stand there.
Ball turns around, walks toward his throne.
What is it?
Weyoun shows a video feed of 1,000 Tari Federation ships battling Dominion forces over a spatial rift and a single puddle jumper decloaking and firing several drones at the Jem'Hadar fighters. The battle was over in less than 5 minutes before all the Tari Federation ships, including several Wraith ships, focused their fire on the spatial rift with their beam weapon after the puddle jumper entered the rift.
Where is it now? The Federation. Space Station took custody of the ship, Master.
Ball gave a disdainful look at the Vorta and slowly raised his hand, revealing his ribbon device.
Which Vorta is responsible for this insolence?
The Borath lines of clones, my lord.
Gather all Borath clones and execute on sight. Failure is punishable by death. Do you agree, Borath? I have failed you, Master. How does it feel to be the last clone?
Ball suddenly stops the energy of the ribbon device from damaging the Vorta clone forehead and turns around, sparing the clone's life. Ball approached his throne chair and sat down.
Weyoun, I have another task for you. I think it's time to come out of the shadows and reveal their new master.